Right, so today I want to talk about wasting. I went to the mosque, it was the Friday sermon, and the Imam spoke about wasting and he made some pertinent points which I will just relay to you. Okay, one of the things he said was he quoted a verse in the Quran which says that the wasters are the brethren of the devil. So that's a very, very profound statement. Okay, and the devil indeed to his Lord was ungrateful. So I was listening to him talk, and I was thinking about the statement. Okay, that the wasters are the brethren of the devil, of Satan, and Satan indeed to his Lord was ungrateful. And it starts, of course, with saying, "Do not waste," okay, because the wasters are the brethren of the devil. Okay, so I thought about that for a second, and I realized that one of the greatest doors to ingratitude. Now we don't know. I can't exactly say what is the cause and what is the effect in the relationship, but I know that they're coincidental. That if you waste, right, it is a sign of ingratitude, and all wastefulness causes ingratitude. Okay, so it could be either or. And I've noticed this in real life, growing up, where I've come across many people who are quote unquote poor people. So they don't have money. But when you visit their homes, you notice how wasteful they are. They're always throwing food away, right? They're always buying expensive foods that you wouldn't buy, right? And then later on, they need money. So this is one form of wasting, okay? You waste your money, right? You waste your food, and then you always need, okay? And this reminds me of another saying that goes, waste not, want not, okay? People who waste, they tend to run out of resources eventually, okay? It may look good right now, while they have plenty, and you may admire them and their ability to just waste, but in reality, a day will come when they no longer have. And this is inevitable with those who waste. And this is also ties in with the verse which says that the devil, the shaitan, invites you to poverty, whereas God invites you to mercy and forgiveness from him. So you have to make sure that you are not a follower of Satan, of the devil, by wasting. Okay, and we are guilty of this quite often in various of our cultures, where we have to show that we are so wealthy that we can waste. Okay, this is a sort of a cultural thing, and a Muslim culture, in fact, you find it a lot amongst Muslim cultures, where they will order a lot of food, and then they'll eat a little bit of the food and then just leave it. Okay, and when they see you are trying to eat your plate clean, or you are trying to not waste, they almost think that, oh my God, you must be poor, you must be shame. Would you like more? But it's not that. It's just that you're trying to obey Allah and the Messenger of Allah by not wasting, where it is that Allah instructs us that eat and drink and do not be wasteful, for Allah does not love the wasters. Now, let us try to dig a bit deeper into the topic, okay? And look at what the effects are of wasting on the human being, okay? Because I've seen this also, okay? So it's always difficult for someone who is used to a lot, right, to be downgraded to a little. Whereas it is not very difficult for someone, of course, who's used to a little to be upgraded to a lot. But the problem with a lot, when you have abundance, is that you begin to become accustomed to the abundance, and then you begin to expect it as normal, and then you are no longer able to appreciate what you have. Okay, so how do we offset it? What more can we get from this lesson of wasting? Okay, we offset it, of course, and we can see this also amply in the Quran, which is to spend a portion of your wealth in charity. Okay, so to practice regular charity is a way to offset your inability to show gratitude to Allah, because you will develop that inability through opulence. Okay, so when Allah gives you a lot and now you have a lot, now you become accustomed to it, and you're not able to appreciate the fact that you have a lot. You are not able to appreciate it because it's normal for you, right? And then you become accustomed to wasting, and then you don't know how to press the reset button. So one way to do that is to give charity frequently, and also to always remain in tune with the poor, so that you can appreciate the lot that you have. There's nothing wrong with being opulent or being rich or having more. Okay, what's wrong is that you are ungrateful. You become ungrateful, and then you are not able to give thanks. And you are not able to give thanks because you are not able to give thanks. Meaning, it's not that you don't want to give thanks, it's that you're not able to feel it in your heart. And this is a dangerous thing when it starts to creep in, and it starts to happen. Which is why the Quran tells us that if you are grateful, okay, that Allah will increase you. I would like to believe it means in gratitude, okay? Because gratefulness is such a big gift. To be able to say thank you to God, to be appreciative of people, to be appreciative of what you have, will result in you being immensely happy. You will be happy, you will be satisfied, okay? لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Okay, you will not fear and you will not be unhappy. Okay, you will not be saddened. This is the believers, okay, and the friends of God, the friends of Allah. Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. Okay. So these are all lessons we can take that contrast wastefulness with gratitude, opulence with just having enough, and also being empathetic and sympathetic towards the plight of those who don't have, the poor and the needy. This is just part of the human experience. These are the mechanisms by which Allah have facilitated our journey towards Him, our education, and the means by which we can become elevated. Okay, so you see in this kind of equation also, everyone and every people and every group and every scenario serves its purpose. They are all tools to facilitate the drawing nearer to Allah, using what He has created for us, things of creation. So I'll give you an example. You would not be able to contrast your wealth with the poverty of others were there no poor people, for example. So the poor becomes a lesson for the rich, okay? And the rich become a trial for the poor. Okay, let's flip the script now, because we tend to always have this problem with the rich, but let's look at the poor for a minute, okay? We tend to be very poor-centric and anti-rich, but let's look at we know how the poor is a fitna, is a trial for the rich. Let's look at how the rich is a trial for the poor. Okay? In terms of the teachings of Allah and His Messenger. Okay? The rich is a source of fitna, of trial for the poor, because the rich, looking at those who have more than you, can create a seed of resentment in your heart and dissatisfaction with what you have. So then you're not satisfied with what Allah has given you, rather you feel resentful towards those whom Allah has given more than you. Okay? And you begin to hate them. So there's rich hatred sometimes from the poor, because they are not satisfied with the fact that they are poor. Okay? And also, they are not inward looking. So you get poor people who, yes, they resent the rich, and sometimes that resentment is justified, because sometimes wealth is acquired, a lot of the time actually in our economy, through exploitation of the poor. Okay? That's the other side of it. Okay? However, there is very often not reflection. There's no reflection on behalf of the poor regarding their poverty. Meaning, they don't ask themselves that what can I do differently to alleviate my situation? Okay? And do I give thanks to God for what I have? Okay? For keeping me alive this long, for giving me clean air to breathe, and water, and sustenance. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't be alive. And food and provisions, etc. Okay? Whether you be rich or whether you be poor. And so the rich can also be a trial for the poor, and the poor can also express ingratitude for the little they have, because it's a little. Just like the rich are ungrateful, become ungrateful, because they think that the lot that they have is automatically their due, and so they are unable to be appreciative. And the way that we constantly remain grounded is to be grateful, to thank Allah all the time, and to be aware of ourselves, self-aware, right? Self-aware of our desires, self-aware of our mentality, our mindsets, and to try to align ourselves with the guidance that Allah sent with His Messenger. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.